sure you'll agree that my van's radio just doesn't sound good. So I think we deserve a little early Christmas present, so let's see what I got. In this episode, we're gonna redo the entire sound system. So I've got some sound deadening, various parts for the speakers, lots of cabling, a new Bluetooth radio, some more tools, and of course some new speakers. First, we're gonna get everything disassembled, so pull the radio out, get the door panel off. Unfortunately, I can only work on one side of the car at a time because it's raining outside. I'm gonna start with the driver's side and we'll see how it goes. I bought these adapters and rings exactly for this car, but I'm not so confident anymore whether they fit through this hole. And also there's no threads in here because the speakers were riveted in. So I also got to buy some tools for this. Now I think we're best off just unboxing the speakers real quick to see whether they're gonna fit. I mean, they really should. Now, they seem to be fairly compact, so it might work. And they are super heavy compared to the old ones. These are just kind of like cardboard thingy. And these are nice and solid. I think that's gonna work just fine, so we're good on that. I did make sure to pull the glass out just to see if there's enough space for the sound deadening and installation, but it's looking good. That should make a big difference in how the new speakers are gonna sound. There's gonna be much less reverb and vibrations, so it shouldn't sound like I'm in a tin can, but who knows how well it really is gonna work. Just went to the store to pick up more bolts, and I don't know how it keeps happening, but I already have a huge collection, but whenever I need a specific bolt, I don't have it. So yeah, now I bought a little set, which should help in the future. So now we get to fit the adapter ring, and I think I'm gonna put on a little bit of Sikaflex. I don't think it's necessary, but then maybe it'll decouple the rattling a bit from the speakers. Also, this has to be a crazy business model. I think I spent 18 bucks for 2 of these adapter rings, and it's literally just hard plastic. But yeah, you have to get the specific ones. So that might be an idea for the future. This side is as far done as I'm gonna get it today. Now before starting with the other side, I wanna do a quick sound test. Not sure if you're gonna hear it too well, but there's hardly any rattle left. Then on the other side that we didn't do yet, it's a completely different thing. It's super rattly, and also closing the door sounds really different. So today's the day where we're gonna install the cabling and hopefully the speakers and the radio. But let me show you something real quick. I hope you can see it. There's quite a lot of water that's got in, I'd assume, through the window. So that's the reason why you never insulate the entire cavities in here, so that water can just run off. And since there's water dripping down behind the speakers, I bought these kind of optional silicone seals in which the speakers are gonna sit, so that the water that runs down isn't gonna drip on them. Then what else I've got? 20 meters of speaker wire, which I think should be plenty. A new housing for the radio unit and a new antenna for the DAB, or whatever you call that. Now the new speakers are about 3 times as powerful as the old ones, but the main reason we're putting in new wire is because the tweeter on the left side would only work when I'm taking a left turn, so that says something in the wire connectors is wrong. So I'm just gonna redo all of them. I'm sure it's gonna be a huge pain. The wire has to be like 10 times as thick as the one that's in there, so that can't hurt. It's time for the fish tape again, so let's see if we can pull those wires through. Alright, I think we've got the first problem of the day. This is a plug and not just the conduit, which I thought, but that pretty much shows I have no clue about cars. There's a bunch of wires coming through that plug, and I don't have any tools or materials to redo these pins, so I guess I gotta work with the wire that's already in, and I'm just gonna cut off the connectors and hope that's where the fault lies, or maybe the connectors over here. And yeah, I guess that's the best thing we can do right now. So I made a few more changes and did some cleanup, and I think I found the culprit. So there's just one positive and negative wire running from the radio, and then it got split in this weird Y piece, which you can still see over there. And I'm pretty sure that in there lies the problem for the tweeter that goes on and off. So I just cut the wire a bit further down the road, put in 2 of these 3-way Vago clamps. So now I have the mirror adjustment wire going up here. And then this is the frequency splitter, so that the tweeter only get the high notes, otherwise I'm just gonna blow them. And I got those wired into the clamps right here as well. So then everything should be nice and tidy. And I've got it wired up so that the clamps face upward, so no water should get in there. Now for the tweeters, they should be fairly simple to install. They're already wired up. That's gonna sit in the existing housing, but I need to glue it up and that takes some time to dry. So I'm gonna do that right now. Just gonna be roughing them up slightly so that the Sikaflex will stick better. Now this CA glue worked much better than I expected, so I don't even think the Sikaflex was necessary. But I also added the blob on the connection, so any condensation water shouldn't corrode the cables too quick. Now we're gonna do the other side, and then it's already time for the head unit, and I'm really excited to unbox this. So let's get that done real quick. I think I'm gonna hook up the old unit real quick just to see if the speakers work, because then we can put the door pedal back on. Then the head unit is gonna be the last thing to do. The speakers work great, so I put the door back on, and also tested out the tweeters, and they work fine as well. And it's already such a difference, even though the radio has super bad quality because it still runs on FM signal. The new one is going to be a DAB and Bluetooth, so let's see what's in here. So I've got a little microphone, some adapters, some sort of removal tools. And then in here is the head unit. And it's super lightweight compared to the old one. And then also the DAB antenna, which might be a little challenge to mount. And then also I'm wondering, there's only one spot for a plug, and it did come with an adapter, but the car has 3 plugs right now for the steering wheel remote. So I'm not sure if that's gonna keep working with this head unit, but yeah, we'll see. Alright, I really have no clue what to do now. I can't even explain what's going on. So this is the old unit, and it housed in this kind of metal sleeve. And you see these angled bits because those go where the metal clips are, because it's a super weird space in here. So this kind of acts as a mounting shaft for the unit. Now, the new radio came with its own sleeve, which has these typical safety locking things, but this sleeve does not fit in here. It's like, I don't know, a millimeter too big, otherwise it would fit. I can't use this mounting thing with the radio without the sleeve, because then it would just fall off. I have no clue what to do. I already packed up and was ready to go home, but then I thought I'd quickly make an Instagram story, and Stevie once again came to the rescue. Now apparently you can just put the new sleeve into the plastic cover and then bend some little tabs, and that should be enough to hold up the weight of the unit. I'm not 100% confident, but it is much lighter than the old one. And I did lose 2 of the screws, so I only have 2 anyway, so I think I'm just gonna go for it. And if it won't hold up, I can still figure it out later on. I tried the unit, but it doesn't turn on, so I want to figure out whether there's power coming through the pins and whatnot. So let's see real quick what the multimeter is gonna show. These 2. Yeah, it's weird, we don't have any power on here, and I have no clue why. Well, I think I see why now. The adapter is wired up completely different. It is a mess, but we can give it another shot. Well, I think I just f***ed up. It says the tank is empty and that the parking aid isn't available. And this doesn't work either. Oh god. This is ridiculous. Now, one weird thing is, if I don't plug it into the unit, then there's no... Well, now it just says the airbag is... What the heck did I do?
20 minutes later.
Now look at that, it's working. But still the fuel thing is still off, so yeah, it's It's kind of weird.
Eventually.
It's really weird now. So the fuel is on again and there's no errors anymore. Then over here it's green and I have no clue what's going on. Yeah, it's all just weird. So, and it's in Italian, I think. So yeah, I'm gonna figure it out.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
It's another day and I spent almost 4 hours to get it all figured out and I came pretty close to what I want. So let me show you. So I used some more connectors and whatever to connect everything, and the problem really was that the plug that came from the car was not up to standard. Otherwise, one of these ISO adapters would have worked. So I hooked it up wrong initially. I just connected blue and blue, and this blue one is for an accessory. So basically, if I don't have the radio turned on, the dash wouldn't turn on, which is kind of stupid. So I think this is almost complete. Now, when I shove it back in there, and still one thing that's missing is gonna be a little adapter for the FM antenna. So I'm not gonna put the trim back on. If I ever leave the car and don't want the radio exposed, I can just take it off and it's super stealth. And that's also the reason why I didn't opt for a display unit. And I set the colors to match the car. So yeah, I'm super happy with it. And now I think it's time for a much awaited sound test.